So for my do something and report on it project, I decided to do an energy audit um, by Molly Meeker of my sorority house. But I started to walk around the house a few weeks ago and I realized that there is way too much to take into account. I just found out that the amount of electricity that we use is so great that the energy audit would take way too long. So I decided to audit the energy that girls use in their personal space. So, blow drying their hair, listening to music, charging their computer, things like that. Anything that is in their room. And I also, throughout the lectures, had thought that when energy is used because something is plugged in and not necessarily being used, I thought that was really interesting. So I thought I would more maybe focus on that and try and figure out ways that girls could save energy. So I first started off by looking around my room and seeing what devices I used, such as a computer charger, cell phone charger, lamps, lights, hair dryer. So I created a list and then I made a survey and I emailed it to every single girl living in the house, so 38 women, and asked them what type of things that they were plugged into the room, not necessarily being used, how long they had their lights on per day, and how many times they blow dry their hair each day, because we all know that blow drying your hair takes up a lot of energy. So then from those surveys, I calculated some data. So as you can see, the majority of women keep their lights on about 9 hours a day. The median, I do believe, was 7.7 hours a day that they had their lights on. I kind of assume that they don't need to have their lights on that much. Maybe it's been increasing because the sun sets earlier, but that is a long time to have your lights on. There was even a girl who said that she kept her lights on 24 hours a day. So that's a lot. Also, I calculated what percentage of electronic devices were in each room. So as you can see, like a computer charger, 90% of the girls had those in their rooms, which means that 18 rooms had them because we have 20 rooms. Cell phone chargers are second highest, then like lamps, things like that. So I also found out that the majority of girls don't blow dry their hair very much, so 35% of girls don't. But after that, 20% blow dry it 2 times a week. 65% of girls do blow dry their hair. And so then I took those amounts and I kind of assumed that the median amount of time would have been 15 minutes, so I calculated 15 minutes for each time, and then also I times it by 30 days, so it would be the amount per month. So from all of this data, I calculated the amount of energy that would be used from girls having this amount of stuff plugged in and blow drying their hair, how many hours they have their lights on in 30 days, as that is the normal amount per month. So to calculate energy usage, you may remember in early October we learned this. We use the same method as we were taught in the lecture. So I recorded the amount of hours each device was used or was plugged in, then found the wattage used by each device and multiplied that amount of hours used, then divided by 1,000 to get the kilowatts per hour. I found the wattage from the cheat sheet that we were given during our homework assignment, and then if there was a range, I averaged them because I didn't necessarily want to go through and figure out how much wattage each TV used. So here is the math equation that I used, and I found out how much kilowatt hours were used per device in a month. So you can see that fans were number 1, and I think computer chargers and then blow dryers were number 2. So this is just a little chart showing that. Also, here's the percentage of energy used by girls in their private rooms for different devices. So a fan is 19%, blow dryer is 17%, a lamp is 17%, things of that nature. Some of the amounts are a little startling. For example, 18% of energy use is for computer chargers. Also, I found a study that said that only 5% of the time that cell phone chargers are plugged in is when they're actually charging something. So that means that 95% of the time that they're plugged in, they're wasting energy. So that means that 95% of energy used from cell phone chargers is wasted. So I calculated it to find out that 26.7 kilowatt hours used from cell phone chargers in 30 days was not actually charging a cell phone, so it was wasted energy, which means it is also wasted money. So I figured out that a simple way to cut down energy would be to get an extension cord that you can turn off and on, so that when you have things plugged in, they're not necessarily using energy if the extension cord is turned off. So here is an extension cord when it is turned off, and when you want to use an electronic device, you just turn it on. I wanted to remind people that everything goes towards overall usage, so I thought that the hair dryers was a really good example because it was the second highest amount of energy used, and they use 1,107 kilowatt hours every 30 days. That is only 65% of women living in the house who are blow drying their hair. So that's 25 women. So to give overall perspective, 65% of the women in the house, or 25 women, are responsible for using 17% of the energy that I audited for one activity. So the overall average private energy usage for 30 days in this house was 6,352.1 kilowatt hours for 30 days, or 211.7 kilowatt hours per day. And my conclusion is that energy can really easily be reduced if you don't have things plugged in that are using energy. Like 95% of cell phone chargers are wasting energy, or 95% of the time cell phone chargers are wasting energy. I'm sure that's similar with also computer chargers. Lights don't need to be turned on for 24 hours a day. Things of this nature, it just really is easy to cut down on it if you aren't using it for wasted energy. So energy conservation can also be convenient. It doesn't always have to be above and beyond. So having an extension cord that you just simply turn off, and then that cuts the electrical current, you're not using that, you're not wasting that money. So just a reminder that every device that is plugged into an electrical outlet is using energy even when it's not turned on. So this project showed me that energy can be conserved in easy ways, and that every little thing that you have plugged in really does add up and costs you a lot of money. It also introduced me it made me understand that energy audits are actually extremely hard. Takes a lot of time to do them, and you just kind of forget what you have all plugged into your house. Also, it definitely opened me up to the ideas of having renewable energy in residential use, such as having solar panels on a house, because old habits die hard. Girls really aren't going to unplug their things when they're not using them because it is just another thing to do. So with the amount of wasted energy there is from just not using something and it just being plugged in, if you were using renewable energy, it would be a cleaner energy to be using, and that way people could use or work on reducing their amount of energy, but also while they're doing that, it would be a cleaner energy that is being burned and less difficult on our environment. So it would overall be a lot easier to just use more renewable energies in residential homes. So that is all I have today, and I want to thank you for watching my Do Something and Report It project.